So what zone are we on right now?
我们现在大概是在第几区呢？
第一区。
Yeah, well, no, so what are you standing on right now? What zone would this be? Second, yeah, I would agree.
一区最接近。
It would be zone 2. There's a lot of movement on here, right? So there's a high frequency of movement. Whereas we go into here, so I'm not letting you go, I'm just going ahead. Sorry.
可以说是第二区，它同意就是有很多人在这边走动，在这边流动区。
You caught up again? That was easy. Okay. Whereas once we get out into the paddy,
如果我们到稻田这边的话，
what are we talking there?
那边算是什么？
Yeah. Zone. I would say it's zone 3, but marginally. It's I would say it's zone 2.5 in my own classification system.
它的分类是2.5区。
I haven't shown you yet, but I've actually developed 7 zones of permaculture.
他设计了一个7个分区的图门设计。
I'm only getting a little bit at a time.
慢慢给我们。
Yeah. That happened when I was in Sri Lanka. I drew a report. I made a report there, and I had an epiphany. Epiphany.
他在斯里兰卡做了一个报告，然后
Yeah.
天气。
Oh.
天气。
I had a light bulb. A light bulb. Yeah. Yeah.
亮了一个。
So partly incremental in the way that comes to me. It was incremental.
就是逐步的。
The Americans. Sorry for my North American colleagues here. Say North American because Canadians don't often like to be referred to.
北美的朋友说声抱歉。
No, but the Americans have created a new first zone.
美国人发明了第一区。
新的第一区。
新的第一区。
It's called Zone 00.
就是00区。
Yeah, so it's the zone between the 2 zeros.
在这个2个0中间的这区。
Yeah. So this thinking zone.
思想的区。
Yeah, which I think is a very valid thing because it's the thinking about permaculture that makes it a very distinctive design science.
他也觉得蛮同意，就是说思考这件事情是让图门在这个设计领域里面非常独特的一个重点。
So it's those decisions that we make. It's that constant reference to ethics and design principles.
就是这个思考是要考虑到这些原则和这些伦理。
So that questioning.
不断的提问，不断的质疑。
And then the action that follows from that questioning.
然后在质疑之后，你才会付诸行动。
And then we've got zone 0, which is the zone inside of the house.
那我们所谓的0区就是在房子里面的那一区。
Which is really about the built environment inside of the walls of our house.
就指的就是在这个所谓围墙里面墙壁里面的这个区域环境。
How does a permaculturalist design a kitchen?
那仆们要怎么样来设计厨房呢？
Right, you can really get quite clever about it, you know.
你可以用很聪明的设计。
Yeah, just I'm a chef, so as a chef, I have an interest in cooking.
因为他曾经当过厨师，他非常对烹饪非常有兴趣。
And a chef's kitchen is much different to most people's house kitchen.
一个厨师的那个厨房跟一般家庭的厨房是非常不一样的。
Things are at reach, you know, everything's zoned quite well.
要非常有规则的把东西摆放好。
But then when you put the permaculture approach to that,
当你运用仆门的时候，
well, you might use some natural curves.
你会用所谓比较流线型自然的线条。
You'll be looking at maybe having some waste cycling systems in there.
你会运用一些回收废物回收的方式。
Like bokashi or vermicast.
就是博卡西是一种
effective microorganisms.
一种微生物的堆肥。
微生物的堆肥方式。
So you can deal with it. No, there's lots of different things. There might be even some food production that happens within the kitchen.
这是在厨房里面就可以从事食物的生产。
In the tropics, the interface between the kitchen and the garden is usually only a roof. Yeah.
在热带地区，这个厨房跟菜园的关系常常是在屋顶上。
Right? You can be in your kitchen because kitchens in the tropics can be largely outdoors.
因为在热带地区，厨房可以是在户外的，
Right?
很大的空
You
间。
just have a roof over that area.
你可以有一个屋顶。
But you take one step, and there's your living pantry.
然后你只要跨出一步，它就是一个
你的起居的地方。
起居的空间。
没有活着，
Okay.
活着的是你要什么的？
蔬菜都是蔬菜的地方。
Right? So you've got you've got an edge there that's, as we say, is quite fuzzy or blurred.
所以这个所谓的边界是很模糊的。
Right, between the zones. We're at the table cooking, and then we're straight into zone 1.
就是说你可能在煮饭，但是你跨一步，它就已经到了 zone 1了。
Or you can have a foot either side.
在不同的分区之间。
You can be picking the lettuce here and putting it into the pot here, you know.
一边塞一些生菜，然后另外一边就可以放到锅子。
An old place we had an outdoor kitchen.
它的地方有一个户外的厨房。
And because in our country it's very hot in summer, you don't cook inside, or you prefer not to.
因为他们在那边热带地，就是在那边很热，所以他们
不会想要在
室内煮饭。
Yeah, so where I am, it gets up to 50 degrees in summer, so it's quite hot.
哇，
它可以高达50度。
So it's pretty hot
夏天非常热。
with hot wind.
还有很热的风。
Yeah, it's not so nice. So this old place, I had the cooker, and then right beside that I had a vegetable garden and herb garden.
所以它就在厨房外面，就是有了菜园跟那个香草园。
So instead of going outside, harvesting everything, putting it in a bowl, and then bringing it in,
所以它并没有说出去，然后非常辛苦的采集之后放在篮子里面。
I had the cooker here, and then a small table on the sides for chopping and for resting. And then right here, right here I had a small garden bed with herbs and some, salad vegetables.
它的厨房就是旁边有一块，就是它可以切东西的一个板子，旁边就已经有一个菜园，可以采集这些食物。
So I could just chop and drop.
它可以直接就是摘了之后就来切。
I was mulching my food.
就很像在
覆盖它的。
Right, so and then you've got your traditional zones like we've talked about. Go on.
我们有一些所谓我们传统的分区方式。
And then there's what I think now is another zone which is developed is the globalization zone.
他现在想到另外一个就是所谓的
Right.
全球性的一个分区。
Which is sort of this layer that in many ways is a negative layer and in some ways is a positive layer.
这个层级有时候是正面的，有时候是负面的。
And we look at that through like the internet is a globalization system.
就像是网络是一个全球性的系统。
Right? It's something that is extraordinarily broad but at the same time very close.
它是非常广大，但同时也让这个距离变近了。
And then we have global finance institutions, WTO, all of those.
还有国际
You
性
have
的一些金融
finance
组
and
织，
regulation.
国际金融组织他们有一些规范，比如说像是
So
世界贸易组织。
So a sovereign nation now has to abide by global regulation.
所以我们现在的国家也都要
受到这些所谓全球的这个国际性的这些控制。
Which is a zone of influence right outside of the common person.
所以我们在我们这些一般人之外，有更大的一个分区在控制我们。
Okay. So that's the type of thinking that I was getting to with that.
这就是他想到的这个分区。
So we get down to here. The patterns here are still quite rectilinear.
这边的模式还是都很方正。
Yeah. So, and it's a very smooth, a very fast interface between, say, zone 1 and 2 to zone 2.5, 3, and then 5.
所以这边的这个分区就是距离还是蛮远，比如说这边是可能1、2区，然后到了
距离蛮近，
很近，然后这边是2.5区，然后到那边可能就是很快就碰到第5区了。
是蛮近的。
对对，他刚已经那个
No,
not
it's
far.
very fast. It's a.
fast，
这样快速的就会碰到另外一区。
It's not always that you can see the divisions so clearly, but it's a very, it's just boom, 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 just cut. It's either one or the other, right?
它就是很明显的，就是这个分区的这个分配。
Right. Which is not such a bad thing.
这个不是件坏事。
It enables us to define the landscapes, the land use quite readily and easily.
这样就是很容易可以运用这个地形。
Like the municipality can say, they can put a line and say, no more development past here.
就是用很明显的区分来界定说，比如说这边可以开发，这边另外一边就不能开发了。
That reserves this valuable land for agriculture.
某些地方保留下来作为农业使用。
Because I can see in the future when oil is a problem, gas is a problem, these landscapes will feed these people again.
他可以预想说，当有一天石油或天然气都已经变成一个大问题耗竭的时候，那这些土地都将要喂养这群人。
Unfortunately, how it works is this food often doesn't go here, it goes out, and then other food comes back in.
但现在情况是，这些生产的东西可能是送到外面去，然后这边人他们买外面的东西进来吃。
Yeah. Now that's part of that WTO influence, right?
就是所谓的WTO 那个
which is
世界贸易
outside
组织的
影响。
Yeah. There, WTO are very unhappy about countries becoming self-sufficient in their food supply.
WTO 一点都不需要每个国家是自给自足的。
Yeah. Yeah.